Well, hello again and welcome to another episode of the Hyperion Adventures Podcast. I'm Tom. As always, I'm with my gorgeous, wonderful, intelligent, hard-working, Disney holidays loving wife and co-host Michelle.
Thank you, baby. Hi, everybody.
Or maybe it's Santa loving wife and co-host Michelle.
All of the above, yes.
They all work in for this week's episode. Speaking of this week's episode, we are recording it on Sunday, December 12th, 2021. Why are we recording it
why?
A week before it drops? Well, that's because we are actually traveling. We are on a trip at the time when this episode drops on the 19th. We should hopefully be on board the Disney Fantasy for our very merry time cruise.
Yeah, it's exciting.
So we were originally thinking that when we did this, we were going to take all our equipment on the road with us, record the episode the day before the trip, record another episode as soon as we got off the ship. However, we've been having some computer glitches, and so we decided, let's not take the chance. We get out there, the stuff doesn't work. Let's just put these together ahead of time. And that's why we're recording a week early.
Right. So, I guess in some ways it makes the vacation a little less, things for us to do, a little more relaxation time.
Yeah. So. I mean, that's the other thing. Was just one thing we don't have to concern ourselves with.
Mainly you do all the work.
Not at all, actually. But we normally would be, looking to take a 2-hour period out of our trip to record these things. Now we can just, we're working a little harder this weekend right before we go, but we can take care of it before we go. And then we can just hopefully enjoy ourselves as much as possible. So this week, we will be doing this episode, which is a brand new episode, complete top to bottom. There will be no Disney stories of the week because, we don't know what the Disney stories of the week will be. I have
a little one that might be appropriate. It's kind of with my tips. So.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll have Michelle always has the best stories, so that is helpful. So we'll be doing that differently now. The next week, the following week, we are just going to do a best of, and I'll explain why we're doing that and what that will consist of. There will be a little bit new material within it, but mostly we'll be going back to an episode from a couple of years ago that was one of your favorite episodes, and we'll discuss that near the end of the show. But we just figure that's another way that you can kind of enjoy looking back at some of our work that maybe you missed in the past.
Right. Yeah. So
that'll be fun. So thank you for joining us today. In the future, you can find us most everywhere you get podcasts. However, the very best place to find us is on our own website, HyperionAdventuresPodcast.com. And while you're there,
we'd really love it if you have not done so already to please sign up for the newsletter. And for those of you who have, thank you ever so much.
Yes. We have a pause on the newsletter right now while we are off on our journey. However, once we get back, the newsletter will be back in earnest, and it's just another way to kind of be involved in the Hyperion Adventures podcast world. We give you a lot of information on what we're doing. Sometimes we drop some stuff that's just for you. Right. Sometimes we drop things earlier than any place else, like on social media or whatever. So you are the first to know if you're a subscriber to the newsletter.
Right. And again, we never share that email address with anybody.
Nope. It's just to get the newsletter out to you about once per week. That is what our plan is. And the new one will be coming out once we get back from this journey where we're currently on. We also love hearing from you on social media. Please follow us there on Twitter at Hyperion Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. If you are on Facebook, come on over and join in the positive Disney energy fun that we're having over on our Hyperion Adventurers Facebook group.
Yeah, it's really a wonderful group. We love that you all take the time to share some of your stories, whether they're Disney or otherwise. And it's just great. And we also appreciate if you tell friends and family about that.
Yeah, have them join in too.
Yeah.
Bring everybody along. It's growing seemingly every day, and we want more and more people to be a part of it. And for those of you who have already joined, we are really happy that you're already involved in our Hyperion Adventurer Facebook group. You can also find us on YouTube. Just do a quick search for Hyperion Adventures Podcast, hit subscribe, and you'll know whenever we have a new video there. And if you ever want to contact us for any reason, please hit us up at our Gmail account, HyperionAdventuresPodcast@gmail.com.
And like I say, every episode, we just love hearing from you all. And if you have any questions related to the material that we're presenting ever, please don't hesitate to let us know.
Yeah, anything you want to contact us for. If you want to suggest a topic, if there's anything you want to go over, if you want to correct us, because
Yeah.
we do get things, well, Michelle does it, but I get things wrong occasionally. If you just want to say hi, that's fine too. We love hearing from you in any of these ways. The Gmail account, social media, whatever it may be, hit us up at your earliest opportunity.
Right.
Yes. If you want to support the show, by the way, there's a couple of ways to do that. You can go to our Spreadshirt shop where you can pick up lots of items featuring our various different logos, our hashtag Real Men Love Frozen logo, our I'm Heading to a Hyperion Adventureland logo, and more of our traditional logos on shirts, sweatshirts, mugs, water
Aprons.
bottles, masks, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of interesting stuff there for you to peruse in different sizes, different colors. Please check us out there. Just go to Spreadshirt Shop, Spreadshirt.com or Spreadshirt Shop. Just do a search for Spreadshirt Shop. And then when you're there, do a search. Easy for me to say.
Not really.
Yes. Do a search for Hyperion Adventures Podcast. I'm sure you'll find us that way. It's also all over our social media and our Linktree account. You can find us there. And also another way to support us is a great way is through our Patreon page. You can be a member there with tiers starting as low as $2, and you get all sorts of swag, a show shout out, Disney Dishes blog recipes of the month. And if you want to join in on the fun there, just go to patreon.com/Hyperion Adventures Podcast.
Right. And we really appreciate those of you who have already signed up as our Patreons. It's
Yes.
so wonderful.
Yes, and hopefully those of you who already signed up got the little extra boost you got this week that we popped in the mail for you, and hopefully you're enjoying that as well. Meanwhile, while we are away, the Hyperion Adventures Disney Hall of Fame is, well, it's closed out now. All the ballots are closed out now as when you're hearing this show. It closed out when we're recording. Well, actually, when this episode dropped, the final category closed out last night. So that was Best Live Action Character.
Well, last night from when this would be airing.
Where it's airing, not when we're recording,
Right.
when it's airing. So just to let you know, we will have our list for you and all the final ballot nominees for you once we return from our sailing.
Yes.
So we will have that all ready for you, and then we'll get the final ballot out there. We will go over what our little gifties are going to be for one person who votes on that final ballot, and then eventually, probably within the first couple weeks of the new year, we will have our third annual Hyperion Adventures Disney Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
Yeah.
So that will be a lot of fun.
That will be
as
fun.
well. Now, we won't be doing my favorite thing from this week because, well, we don't know what it is yet. I'm going to hope that we got scanned clear when we got tested before going, and we are now aboard the Disney Fantasy, but I'm not going to assume anything at this point. So just hoping that, but that's why we're not doing my favorite thing this week or next week either. So just to let you know, but that's usually a regular thing we do, and we'd love for you to chime in with your favorite things from each week as well.
Right. Yeah. Especially our Facebook group. They're really great about doing that.
They chime in with a lot of stuff,
Yes.
and that's a lot of fun. So obviously we won't be doing Disney stories of the week either, but we will have a tip for you at the end. Oh, Michelle says she has a story, so we'll see what that is.
Just slightly.
Well, we will do that, but we're going to go ahead and jump right into our main topic of the week, which is a lot of fun, and we will get to it right after this. So yes, we are in Christmas week.
Yeah.
So if you celebrate Christmas, whatever holiday you celebrate at this time of year, we hope you'll kind of join in on the fun that we're going to have for our Disney holiday lists for Santa this week.
Right. And I'm wondering if they're going to be similar in the types of things we're asking. Or,
No.
I mean, you're more of a want world peace, and I want something Disney.
I'm going to tell you what, I went big on mine. Like if you're going to ask the big man for things,
Right.
that jolly old elf for things, I'm going big with this
right.
list. So I have a lot of huge things on this list. I'm not going to rank them in order. I'm just going to kind of go through them.
Oh, I have
as we
them
do.
ranked.
Oh, wow, Michelle.
Ooh.
Now, Michelle probably did this the right way, and I probably did not.
No, I probably just read into it a little too much.
I'm just doing it just like as if I was doing a Christmas list to Santa, a holiday list to Santa. And I would just put in items there and see which one he circles as the one that hopefully I've been a good enough boy this year that
Right.
he puts under our tree.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is going to be a lot of fun. We'd love to hear yours. I know we won't be able to go through them until after, the Christmas and the holidays are, well, not New Year's, but most of the holidays are done. But we'd still love to hear yours when we get through
Yeah.
this. So.
Or maybe we can feature some people's actual holiday gifts.
Oh, we will definitely do that if you want to do that. Yeah, if
Yeah,
you
I
want to
think
share
that'd be
those
fun.
on our Facebook group or on
Right.
anywhere on social media, please let us fill us in, tag us or whatever, and we will be happy to retweet those, share those, whatever
talk
it
about
may
'em
be.
on an
Talk about it
episode.
definitely on an episode for sure. So whenever we do these kind of things, well, we always start with Michelle. One, because she's wonderful, gorgeous, fantastic. She's very holly jolly, and she has the best research. She has the definite best tips, but she usually has the very best list. So I'm sure Santa will pay attention to her list first because she's been an awfully good girl this year.
I don't know about that.
Yes. So let's start it off with Michelle. What is your first thing you are asking Santa for on your Disney holiday list?
Okay. And so I did rank them mainly because, it's, I guess, up to Santa to decide just how deserving I am. So I kind of tried to do a little bit of a range to give him some options there. So, kind of going by the, if I wasn't quite so good to, yeah, she was good, I'm going to really treat her. So
You're getting that because you've been really good
I
this
don't
year.
know. I don't know. So my first one on the list, which it would have been my number 5, is a Magic Band Plus. That
Wow.
they're not due out until 2022. But it just seems fun to be having something that can remind you even more that you're in a very special, magical place, because you get some, with that Magic Band Plus, you're going to have better opportunities to have things happen throughout your day and throughout your experience. I mean, even just how it's going to be interacting with those Fab 50 character, around the parks and everything. Just to be a little bit more part of the magic and part of the story.
Yeah, plus it's going to work at Disneyland. We learned not that long
Yeah.
ago, and that's going to be exciting too because we haven't had magic bands at Disneyland.
Right.
So it's going to be fun to have that as an option
Yeah.
when we visit the parks for sure.
Yeah,
So it's a good choice.
That's my number 5,
Yes. I don't blame you. That is a really good choice.
Yeah, thank you.
And a reasonable choice, unlike my first choice, which probably unreasonable. But like I said, if I'm going to ask the big man for things at this time of year, I'm going big.
Okay.
I'm going for some huge stuff. So my first pick on my Disney holiday list for Santa is Jedi Master passes to Star Wars
Ooh.
Celebration Anaheim 2022
Nice.
and or Sorcerer passes to D23 Expo 2022
Nice.
in Anaheim. We want that extra access, the ease of going into any of the panels that
Right.
we want to go, the extra perks that come along
Sure.
with it. These are not inexpensive things.
Right.
They're not a lot of them. They go pretty quickly. So this may be a tough get for the big man, but this is something that would really make our year for sure. Because this is a
Right.
big year. We're hoping to go to both of those things and to be able to be there and talk about it with you to all the major panels and everything would be just so awesome for this year.
Yeah, that's a great selection. And yeah, they really do come with a lot of fantastic perks. And, even if you're somebody that is planning to splurge and do that, like you said, they can be hard to come by. They go quickly. And, as we saw with the Run Disney race, just, a few seconds can make a difference of whether or not you are actually able to get one of those.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But Santa, love to have those in my stocking this year. So that's my first pick. Michelle, I guess you're going by number. So what is
so
your...
mine ranks up, gets bigger as it goes.
There you go. So what is your number 4? Number 4 thing on your Disney holiday list for Santa?
Okay, so my number 4 would be to receive a Dooney and Bourke bag.
Ooh.
I know, right? I mean, they're always beautiful.
There's so many wonderful choices. And we always look at them like, ooh, that is so cool, but we've never splurged on one.
Right, exactly. And sometimes you find different ones at the parks versus at Shop Disney. So right now, if just looking at the ones at Shop Disney, the one that like really kind of shouted out to me was actually, kind of surprising because I think it's been around a little bit, is the Disney Vacation Club design, just that whole concept of, we are members of DVC, but, it just looks like definitely travel inspired kind of designs on it. And it's beautiful colors that kind of would go with almost anything you choose to wear.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I'm sure you would love that. Yeah. And like I said, we've looked at them many times. We've thought about pulling on the trigger on them a couple of times, but we've just never gone through with it. And that would be an awesome gift under the tree from Santa for you, for sure. So great choice.
Thank you.
Michelle's list. The best list.
All right, your next one.
My next choice. Well, look, I'm a man of the people, okay? Yes, this is for me, but this is for you out there as well.
For the children.
Yes, for the children. I'm going big again with something that is going to be a complete reimagining of an attraction, as a matter of fact. Something that has been well overdue for a long time, and I know we all want it. I mean, there's some people that want some attractions reimagined. They don't. I think that a huge majority of people want this attraction to be reimagined. And that is going to be Journey into Imagination with Figment at Epcot. I'm asking Santa to get together with the Imagineers, to get together with the higher-ups at the Walt Disney Company and decide finally, we're keeping Figment, but we're going to make this thing great again, because Journey into Imagination was a wonderful attraction at one time. It can be again, and we are going to do that. We're going to get this great attraction and get Figment all the love he deserves. He still gets plenty of love, but we want to keep that going with the attraction he deserves.
Yeah, wow, that's very creative of an ask. I love it.
So that is the next thing on my list.
Wouldn't have even thought about going to the idea of reimagining an attraction. Very creative, sweetie.
So that is another thing that I'm hoping Santa will put under our tree this year. Let's get back to Michelle, the real list here for Michelle's number 3 item that she is asking Santa for on her Disney holiday list.
All right. So my number 3 item would be to get tickets, preferably VIP locations, to Drawn to Life, the Cirque du Soleil show at Disney Springs that, just released not that long ago. And I mean, from everything that we've seen in the behind the scenes about it, from people who have gone to it, it just looks so amazing.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it looks great. Right? And we've heard from somebody who we know very well that has gone, and they said they loved it. They thought it was fantastic. And we can't wait to see it. And VIP seating would be wonderful.
I know. So. But it's on social media. It's getting really high praise too. So. Why not, right?
Why not? And again, Michelle is actually, like, her stuff is reachable. Like, this might actually end up under the tree here coming up. But mine, I just can only hope.
Right.
But yours,
I don't know. My next ones get bigger.
Yeah, interesting. That's another great choice from Michelle.
Oh, you're sweet. Thank you, honey. So this would be like your third choice.
Yes, that's my next
third ask to Santa.
Again, I didn't really rank them, but this is the next ask on my list for Santa of Disney holiday items that I may want. And again, I am a man of the people. Okay. So I'm doing this, yes,
So selfless.
for us, but also for you. Again, for the children, at least the children that are of the age that can take part in this. And that is something we've been, it's been so long. We haven't had it out here on the West Coast in what seems like forever. For the first time no, it doesn't have anything to do with that.
Oh, okay. I was like, wow.
Well, I could. If they wanted to theme it that way, I would be all for it. But what I'm really asking Santa for is, as we get into 2022, and probably it wouldn't take place till 2023, but we can get the wheels rolling, is get Run Disney races returning to the Disneyland Resort.
Yes. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Because I believe it's been since like November of 2017.
Wow.
Since the last race at the Disneyland Resort.
Wow, yeah.
It's been more than 5 years.
Wow, yeah. I mean, because
by the time they could possibly go, it's been
Right.
more than 5 years. But
yeah, I mean, when they first stopped doing it here, it was due to plans for construction
Right.
and things going on. And yeah, so it wasn't like due to the pandemic or anything like
Right.
that.
And they've changed their plans for construction. What they originally were going to do right now, as of today, they are not doing. They still have some ideas of things they may change around
Right.
there. So we'll see. But right now it's pretty wide open. Another thing was there was a dispute kind of going on with the Anaheim city council and such. So there were some issues with that because part of this, it's not with Disneyland, and especially for the longer race. I mean, you can run the 5K and most of the 10K within the parks if you
Right.
really wanted to. But, for the half marathon or whatever, you have to run that through the city of Anaheim. And so there, you have to work some deals
Right.
and some different permits
Closing
and everything.
streets and
Yeah.
security.
And Disneyland and Anaheim weren't really getting along for a while there. They're back on better terms now. So, these things are opening up. Galaxy's Edge is open now. Avengers Campus is open. So those are areas you can run through
Right.
again. I say, let's get this thing going. Let's get the Disneyland races, the Run Disney races back at the West Coast, and we can all enjoy it together.
Right. No, that's a good one. And like you said, that would be enjoyable for many, many, many other people as well as you.
For sure. So
Yeah.
that is the next item I have on my Disney holiday list for Santa. But again, let's get back to the real list here.
Please.
Michelle, we're at number 2 now, right? For your
Right.
Disney holiday list for Santa.
Yes. So my number 2 would be to be able to enjoy a 1-week stay in the Copper Creek cabins.
Ooh.
Right there, those
You went big with this one. Yeah.
I know. I mean, there are these private, fully equipped, like mini houses along the waterfront there. You have your own private deck and hot tub on the private deck. And it's just, I mean, we toured it. They look spectacular. And just to know that you could that we could stay there for a week.
A full week would be
a
insane.
full week would be insane. You could still participate in other things around the parks and everything, but just to be able to stay there.
I don't know how much park time I'd be
I
doing
know,
if
I'd
they
be
had
like
that room.
just staying in there. I mean, it's just phenomenal how they have a fireplace that is, enjoyable both indoors and outdoors because of the way they have that at the wall and everything. And
Because most of the year in Florida, you really need the fireplace going.
right. And just, the woodwork and the stone, it's very, it fits the Wilderness Lodge / Copper Creek area of that outdoorsy feel. Just so relaxing. And, calling it a cabin just seems to fit. It does have that ambiance to it as well. And it would just be like heavenly.
Right. Plus, we love the Wilderness Lodge. It's one of our favorite resorts to at least visit, even though we haven't. I think you've stayed there, but I have never stayed there, right? Have you stayed there?
I'm trying to think. I don't know that I have.
Well, I've never
Yeah.
stayed there, but we love that lodge itself. We love just visiting it at various different times of the year, especially the holidays. It's
Right.
gorgeous at the holidays.
Yeah, I was just going to say. Yeah.
And one of our favorite dining spots at a resort is Geyser Point, which is
Right.
just right down there from the cabins,
Yes.
which is, another great place to just stop and get a meal and get a beer or
Right.
a glass of wine or a
Yes.
cocktail and just sit there and look out over Bay Lake.
Right.
And, just a relaxing spot.
Yeah,
So,
and you don't need reservations. And so, yeah.
Great choice.
Yeah.
Very
thank
good
you.
pick.
Thank you.
I'm telling you, Santa's going to give these things to you. I am convinced because your list is an excellent list. And plus, again, you've been very, very good this
Yeah,
year.
right.
So,
What about you? Now this would be your fourth selection
Yes, this
or
would be the-
fourth request, dear Santa.
yes. So, again, I'm going big. And this time, I've been a man of the people, but this is for us. This is
Okay.
for me. This is for you. This is for us. This is something that I'm going to have just for us. And you mentioned a cabin.
Right.
And yes, I love those cabins. I would not turn those down, especially a week on those, or even just 2 days on those. But I'm talking about 2 days on something of a different type of cabin. And that is a cabin aboard the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser. I want that under my tree this year. And I know
Nice.
some people have been out there kind of poo-pooing, for lack of a better word, some of the things that have been put out on social media out there. And I don't care. I think it looks fantastic. I think some of this is a little sour grapes by people who are just like, it's not worth it anyway. That
Right.
wouldn't be paying for it anyway. And I totally understand that. It just makes, hey, if it justifies it for you, great. Good for you.
Right.
I want to go on this thing. I think it looks great. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I want it under my Christmas tree, Santa, please.
There you go. I know. And, I sort of understand people's perspective, especially if you're just accustomed to, say, going to a hotel or resort, staying on property with that and not realizing, maybe some of the other nuances of this is that it's kind of like more, you're an immersed experience for 2 days. That's what you are. You live, eat, drink, breathe, whatever that terminology is, but you're just totally in that. And, and I think that, you could look at Disney and there's a lot of immersive experiences that they could expand on something similar to that, whether it be like a pirate theme or villains theme or something like that. I mean, to me, this is like the start of something that could be even more and more rather than just, a regular resort stay. But I agree, it would be fantastic to be able to do that.
Yeah. And don't know if we ever will. We are certainly looking at it. It is on the edge of what we can actually afford. But we're going to wait and see and, hear some reviews on it and see how it turns out and let them work out some of the bugs. And then we'll revisit it when we get a chance. We have a lot of stuff going on this year. We already told you we're going to hopefully to Star Wars Celebration 2022, D23 Expo 2022.
Right. Busy year.
We have a cruise aboard the Disney Wish set up. So we have a lot of stuff going on that we're already going to be flipping plenty of money for. But possibly if we feel that it sounds like it's good enough and we can afford it, maybe 2023, 2024, something along those lines.
Yeah.
We'll see about doing it. But it would be even better if Santa just placed
just
it
gave
under
it
our
to you.
tree and then we
Yes.
could just do it and we could tell you all about it and you can decide for yourself if it's worth it for you.
Right. Wow. Very good. I actually thought when you were starting that, you were going to be doing my number one pick.
Oh, well, let's get right to it then because I'm intrigued now. What is Michelle's number one item aboard her Disney holiday list for Santa?
Well, I'm kind of, I like to look at a vacation being 7 days. So, and what I'd want here in order to make it 7 days would require 2 separate stays. And that would be taking a back-to-back stay aboard the Disney Wish. So then being able to be on that beautiful new ship coming out for a full week, but staying in the Princess Aurora 2-story royal suite.
Wow, yeah. Oh, you went really big with that one, yeah.
It wasn't the top level. They actually have one level above
The
that.
other one is the tower one, right?
It's the
Yeah.
tower. It's got a Moana theme, which is beautiful, and I would love that as well. But I just thought, going to
Let's
a little
not
bit
get
more
crazy for
right.
Santa.
Be a little
here.
humble. Go to the second level. But yeah, just I think kind of like the old school thought of the movie Sleeping Beauty, and just kind of having that feel that more traditional princess feel to it and look and everything like that. So that would be, yes, big if maybe not sky's the limit. I think yours has more sky's the limit, but big type of potential Christmas gift.
Yeah, well, I love it. And that'd be phenomenal. That
Right?
would be a great time. Just going to be aboard the Disney Wish next year was going to be phenomenal enough, but I couldn't imagine being in a 2-story suite that's completely themed.
Right. Your concierge.
You're going to be treated to all the great stuff while you're there. I love it, and that is a great choice.
Well, thank you.
I hope it ends up under your tree because
Yeah.
I benefit from it as
Right?
well. I think, anyway. I think she'd bring me.
Of course.
You never know.
You're the best person to be with. Absolutely.
So,
All right. So now we're down to your final request from Santa.
so the final item that I have on my holiday list for Santa, and you know, when you make a holiday list for Santa, there is strategy involved when you do this.
okay.
Whenever you do a holiday list, a Christmas list, whatever it may be, there is a strategy involved. And part of that is you put in a ton of high-end things that people probably won't afford, that they can't possibly do. And then you put something that's moderately expensive, moderately tough to get, because they'll look at that and say, well, I can do that.
There you go.
So my final item fits right into that. You know, I would love all those other things
Right.
that I put out there for Santa to end up under our tree. But this is the thing that I think that he would probably land on for what it's going to be. And did you mention before that I am a sap? Something along those lines, that I'm very sappy, that I want peace on earth or
Right.
whatever. Well, the last choice I have on here is I want a spectacular 2022 for all our family, our friends, and definitely you out there, our Hyperion adventurers. It's been a
Yes.
tough couple of years. Things are gradually getting better, not as quickly as we'd like, but they're getting better. I want 2022 to be so much better that you get to go and do all the things you want to do. Get to the parks, get out to meet friends, get out to meet families, get out and hopefully connect with us at the
Right.
parks. Or at various different other things throughout the year. And that's what all I'm wishing for is just a wonderful, wonderful 2022 for you all out there.
Wow. Very, very impressive of an ask. I guess I nailed you. Right? I nailed
you
it.
did. Well, you know me very well. You know me so well.
I know that you're very, very loving, and you like to see everybody be in a good place. And so that is an awesome, awesome ask for Santa.
Thanks. And like I said, strategy.
Right?
And if you don't know that strategy, put it into use. For you little ones out there that may be listening to this show, that is the strategy. Put it into use. If there's something you really, really want, put some crazy things on the list that people will never buy. And that suddenly that thing that may be just slightly expensive doesn't look as expensive
Right.
anymore.
Good strategy, sweetie. See, look at how educational you are in
There we
this, too.
go. Could have been my tip for the week. How to work the holiday season.
Right?
Yes.
Oh, my
So-
gosh. Too funny.
Anyway, we would love, again, to hear what you would put on your holiday list for Santa, Disney
Right.
related. Please send them to us, social media, Gmail account, all sorts of different ways. If you see us in the parks or on the cruise ship, say hello and tell
Right.
us.
Yeah.
We want to share them on an upcoming show.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
So,
And this was a good topic, baby.
yeah, this was a lot of fun. And it may be something we continue on in the future because it could be an annual thing because things change. New
True.
things are added. There's some things we may want coming up in the future. I mean,
Yeah.
we talked about Star Wars Celebration and D23 Expo.
Right.
All sorts of new things are probably going to get announced at both of those.
Right.
So we may have some new exciting things that we will want to put on our list
True.
next year.
Good
So
point.
maybe this becomes an annual episode for us. So,
Nice.
yes. So that is a look at our Disney holiday lists for Santa. So that was a lot of fun, and we hope this week for you, again, whatever holiday you celebrate, whether it was Hanukkah a few weeks ago, whether it's Kwanzaa, Festivus, whatever it may be, whatever holiday you celebrate, and of course Christmas, we hope it's safe. We hope it's filled with fun, family, and friends.
Right.
And we hope the best for you in 2022.
Exactly.
Yes. So again, we aren't really going to do Disney stories of the week because, well, we just don't know what the Disney stories were for this week. But I hear Michelle has something, and I think it's part of her tip. So instead of going to the Disney stories of the week, let's go ahead and get to our tips. And I'm sure Michelle, who always has the very best tips, will go through that story with you here. So Michelle, what is your tip of the week?
Okay, so my tip of the week is, especially if you're wanting to experience some of the Disney magic during times that maybe if you're a Magic Key or annual pass holder and things are blocked out, but you still want to try to have some fun at Walt Disney World, for example, there are things to do. And this is true all year round. Actually, there are times that you might not be with a pass and you don't want to go in every day. We've talked about that in the past, and there's so many wonderful things to do. So many things like in the holidays, doing the hotel hopping and checking out different gingerbread displays, etc. But just in terms of some activities, just to kind of remind people that they're there. So for example, you could do either rent a canoe or rent a kayak over at Fort Wilderness and do some of the waterways there. You can rent it by the hour, and just something different. It's if you've never been at Fort Wilderness campgrounds, it's beautiful. It's peaceful, relaxing, and it can be a lot of fun doing something like that on the water. But
it's a great place, by the way, just to walk through.
Yeah.
Like if you just want to go for a long walk, get there and just kind of walk around the campsites and take a look at things, and especially during the holiday season. We've mentioned this many times, at how great the decorations are. But
my God, they're phenomenal.
Yeah, the canoes and kayaks are really cool too.
Yeah. Sure. And so another thing, and this is where I guess kind of my news story in the sense of an announcement of something. So the holiday sleigh rides, was really happy to hear that at Fort Wilderness they've resumed those for the month of December. So that's like a horse-drawn carriage for up to 4 people, but that's only till the end of December. But the good news is that the horse-drawn carriage rides for Fort Wilderness and Port Orleans are returning in 2022. Right. So the Fort Wilderness carriage rides are going to return on January 7th of 2022. You can, again, it's like about a half an hour ride. I think they technically say 25 minutes throughout the area there. It's really fun, beautiful, that you get to have kind of like this very personal experience. So that's nice that's resuming in January. And then, as I mentioned, Port Orleans, theirs is going to be reopening on February 4th of 2022, again, for up to a party of 4. I mean, what they do say, if it's 2 adults and 3 really little kids, you could probably fit them in the carriage. But it's just another way of exploring the grounds. The cast member that is actually taking you out on this carriage ride is also, somebody you'd want to talk to, get some behind the scenes things, or just get to know that person more. We always find talking to the cast members to be so wonderful and warm, and you get to hear, something more about them and why they're there. And so my tip in general is there are things, we've talked about in the past that you can do to explore, but it's great that some of these things that were put on hold for a while are coming back, that being the carriage rides.
Yeah, I like that. We've talked about it several times when we've been at Fort Wilderness doing the carriage rides, especially around the holiday time when they're all decked out holiday wise. And it's, we just mentioned it a little bit ago, all the wonderful decorations that the guests put out there for their own campsites or whatever. And getting to see a lot of that when you're on these carriage rides. And it's just a nice little, it can be a family thing, and it can also be a little romantic thing if you're there on a couple's night or whatever. Just a nice little jaunt around the campgrounds there. So I'm happy to hear that they're returning for sure. So.
Yeah, and the prices for the carriage rides in 2022 will be $55 in both locations. The ones that are going on right now for the holiday is a little bit more. It's $75, but yeah.
And how many people can fit in those carriages? Do you know?
Well, they're saying up to 4. If it's like 2 adults and 2 children, they said really if they're really little kids, you could get 3 kids in there.
So
with two adults.
right, that just might be a nice thing to cap off a romantic evening or a fun family filled evening or whatever, and just it's a little bit of a splurge, but it would be fun just the same. So
Right, exactly.
really nice. So glad to hear more things are returning
Yes.
to Walt Disney World. That's
Yes,
great.
thank
That's
you.
great.
So what about your tip this week, sweetie?
My tip, I'm going to go back. This was actually one I was going to do last week, but I changed on the fly after some things we talked about last week. But during last week's episode, one of the Disney stories of the week was discussing the various Disneyland After Dark events that are coming back, the late night ticketed events that are coming back. And I just wanted to talk to you about, we've discussed this in the past, but kind of go over, and some things may have changed since the pandemic, but from what we've experienced several of these, and we took notes on, some ways that is best to kind of approach a lot of these events when you go there. And I just wanted to share a few things that we know about when you're going there, if you have plans to go to one of these events. And the main thing is just to kind of have a plan going in. Like, what is your goal for the evening? Are you just there to kind of experience everything? Are you going there to take a lot of photos with these backdrops or characters or whatever? Are you looking to ride a lot of attractions? Because a lot of times you'll have some shorter wait lines for a lot of these attractions, so you can get a lot of them in.
True.
Is it the fantastic, food that they have, event-driven food, themed food for the event? Do you want to check that out? Do you want to check out all the entertainment? There are always a lot of interesting things, whether it be a DJ, whether it be, bands playing, whether there's always all sorts of interesting things that are revolved around these late night events. Just go into it and kind of have that goal in mind. If you're going to do photos, I'm going to tell you right now, that is like, forget everything else. Like, that is the line that is going to be the longest that you're going to run into all night. At least in the past, that's the way it's been.
Yeah. And we've seen that at Disneyland, even with the phase reopening, when they had a taste of Disneyland, that you could have photo ops and go, have a special ticketed event and have some photo ops. And that is always one of the most popular things at Disneyland.
Yeah, it's insane how popular the photo areas are. So I would suggest you scout that out early and pick the couple that you want really badly and get there as early as you can to get in line, or you may be waiting there for a long time in those, and that may take up most of your evening. Now, again, you can just be in lines for photos all night. I think there's better ways to take your time there, but if that's what you want, that's fine. Everything is good with it, but just know going in that is probably a lot of these, especially for the really rare ones or the really fantastic ones. You may be in a queue there for quite a Rise of the Resistance has nothing on the queue for these at times. I'm telling you. So just know that going in. Attractions, again, you can kind of play by ear. There, especially as you get later in the night, you can really get on some of the more popular attractions really, really quickly. I mean, like we've walked on to Peter Pan's Flight and other things near the end of the night. Food can be very busy as well. I suggest you hitting those up early if you're looking for the food, trying to get some of the more popular items early, because those people will line up for those as well. But the entertainment, if you're going to do the entertainment, that's easy. It's going on all night. You can just kind of walk up to it. Sometimes there's show times for certain things. Check those as on the guide they give you at the beginning of the night. But my main thing is like, just kind of go in there and have an idea of what you want to do, but don't be afraid to pivot when you see that some things might kind of lure you a little more. It might be more of what you feel like that evening as you get there.
That's a really good point. Yes.
So that's it for this week. Next week, as we mentioned previously earlier in the show, it's going to be a best of the Hyperion Adventures podcast. We've done this one other time. It was actually when we were on our Panama Canal cruise. Is when last time we did a best of episode. So we're going to do that again this week. And when this episode is released, it'll be the day after Christmas. It's going to be released on December 26th. Right. So with that being the case, that means we'll be working our way to New Year's and the New Year's Eve celebrations. So we thought, we'd help you set up your playlist for the party that's coming for New Year's Eve, for your Disney party, Disney themed party that's going for New Year's Eve. So we're going to go throw this back to September of 2019 and get your dancing shoes on for our 5 favorite Disney dance party songs episode.
That's awesome. That's going to be fun. Yeah. We hadn't discussed ahead of time, so I didn't know which one you were going to pick, and I love it. That's a great great one to add on, especially like you said, as you're getting ready for New Year's celebration.
Yeah, it was a very popular episode, one of our most downloaded episodes ever. So you've probably heard it, but if you haven't, it's going to be a great chance to go back and again, help set up your playlist so you can boogie the night away Disney style on New Year's Eve.
I love it.
So that'll be a lot of fun next week. So as for today, we appreciate that you joined us today. In the future, you can find us most everywhere you get podcasts. However, the very best place to find us is on our own website, HyperionAdventuresPodcast.com. And while you're there,
you will be invited to sign up for our newsletter.
Yes, please sign up for the newsletter. It's just another way to be involved in the Hyperion Adventures podcast world. Another great way is to follow us on social media. We're on Twitter at Hyperion Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. If you are on Facebook, come on over and join in the positive Disney energy fun we're having at the Hyperion Adventurers Facebook group.
Yeah, it's a great group, and we love that you're there and sharing your information, things that you're doing, things that you have planned. So if you're not already on that, you'll want to join it.
Yeah, for sure. It's a lot of fun, easy to get into. I don't require anything to join in. You know, we will weed out anybody who starts doing anything funky on that site because we don't want any of that. We want it to be positive Disney energy. But all you need to do is say, hey, I want to join, and you're a member. So that makes it really, really easy for you. Also, we are on YouTube. If you want to find us there, just do a quick search for Hyperion Adventures Podcast, hit subscribe, and you'll know whenever we have a video on there. And if you ever want to contact us for any reason, please hit us up at our Gmail account, HyperionAdventuresPodcast@gmail.com.
We love hearing from you, even if it's just to say hi.
Yep. Input, any sort of input. We love it. It helps us know that we're not just putting episodes out there into a void. We get numbers, but that doesn't mean we know that people are listening to us. But when you respond, when you interact with us, it helps us feel better about the show, knowing that our goal, that what we want to do is get this positive Disney energy out there, is coming across.
Right. And we'd like to hear from you how you do like the episodes, or if there's things that you want us to talk about.
Yep. That's all a part of it. So, and of course, as Michelle always says, the best way to let people know about this show is just to tell a friend that this show exists.
Exactly.
Because Michelle always has the best ideas for how to let people know about this show. So that's it. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Hyperion Adventures podcast. We look forward to sharing some time with you again next week. Until that time, I'm Tom.
I'm Michelle.
And we hope that you have a very Merry Christmas and a very Happy Holidays.
Bye.